Hi Kathleen and Jerry, this is Marty. I'm going to briefly go over the cases that you're gonna be using at the Learning Lab in Echo, Florida. So this is the opening screen when you open up the software, Diastolic. Notice that the cases are all listed under patient name, identified by the different studies that we're going to be reviewing for the Learning Lab. You guys are going to be doing diastolic function, so you are 3.1, 3.2, and 3.3. Notice it says diastolic function. This case has poor ejection fraction, definitely has P veins. You have a normal EF with diastolic function and a normal EF2 with diastolic function. So I'm going to briefly go over them. To open the case, just as a review, you double click on the item or the case study that you want to open. When it's opening, it's going to go directly to the images, bypassing the report. Notice that there are icons on the top here. They stay standard whether you're in the work list or if you're in the study. The icons represent the work list. If we wanted to go back and review the work list, you'd click here. If I wanted to close the patient out, I would close the patient. Edit refers to if you want to edit the patient demographics. Then over here you have calcs. Calcs is the button or the icon that you're going to click when you want to do measurements. If you've done calcs and you want to edit the measurements after they've already been entered in the report, you would go to edit. If you wanted to go to the report, you would click report, and then if you wanted to go back to images, you'd go back to images. So those are kind of like your standard icons. So here's your first study. It is a individual with obviously poor function. Fairly good images. Notice here on the right you have your thumbnails. You can toggle back and forth through the thumbnails by going on the bottom here, either forwards or backwards. Again, on the image here you have the cine loop controls at the bottom right here. This is play, this is stop. If you wanted to go to the next thumbnail or the previous thumbnail, you would go backwards or forwards based off of the thumbnails on the right here. If you wanted to make this screen the entire screen, that's what this button right here refers to. You can alter your contrast or brightness, and then of course if you wanted to scroll through the frame, you could go here. You can also take and scroll here as well. Okay, so let's review. So for this study, the patient does have fairly good pulmonary vein flow. So again, the sample is within the pulmonary vein at the appropriate spot. You've got very nice threshold rejection here. In addition, this is your mitral inflow pattern at the tips. It's not the greatest. It's probably a restrictive pattern. You can see a little bit better tissue Doppler here, where you sort of have the blending of the E and the A, sort of like at end diastole. So if you were going to do a measurement, let's go to the pulmonary veins. Okay, you can go to calc. Under calc, you have the screen over here on the left. Typically for the Learning Lab, we want to do specific measurements and not a protocol. If you were to click on these icons up here, they would take you through the protocol that does every single measurement in the peristernal, or the protocol that goes through every single measurement that you would do in the four-chamber. So for this, you probably just want to click diastology. In diastology, we'll take you to each one of the specific measurements that are done within the diastology. So we can click, just for ease of measurements, we'll do pulmonary veins, and we'll do systole and diastole ratio. So again, we'll say this is systole and this is diastole. And then over here it will say to continue. Basically it prompts you what to measure over here. So you've got peak systolic, peak diastolic, and then it gives you the systolic over diastolic ratio. And then again, if you, right here it says to continue, press next, which you would click here, or you can simply click the right click button, which is also RMB is right mouse button or right click. So we can right click there. Then the measurements actually go to the report, which you can see here on the report if you wanted to review the measurements. Again, if we wanted to edit these measurements, you would simply go to the edit screen right here. And then you have like all the different measurements that we had. We did the Systolic over diastolic. If you wanted to review how many we did those, simply double click and it would take you here and it gives you the ratio that we did it once. And then you can hit OK. You could also delete this measurement if you wanted to, and it would ask you if you wanted to delete it. You're going to say yes. And then when you exit here and you go back into your report, you notice that our pulmonary vein flow measurements are no longer there. Okay, so let's go to the next case, just to kind of give you an idea of the next case. We have diastolic 3.2, double click. We'll open, and again, it's going to go directly to the images. This is a normal function, fairly, again, nice images. Go to the apical views, and these are the pulmonary vein flows. Again, very nice pulmonary vein flow. Very nice atrial reversal. So you have your systolic, diastolic. Again, we can do measurements. We would go to diastology. We could do systole over diastole. We would go systole, diastole. Then we could also do the A wave reversal, and we'll go A wave reversal. Just click there, okay. And to save it, see over here it says touch onset of atrial reversal flow, and then right click the mouse button, okay, and then it'll go into the final results. We can also do mitral inflow, so we can go to diastology. You can do your E over A ratio, which it'll tell you right here what to touch. Touch the E velocity, and then touch the A velocity. To keep this measurement, you can right click, or if you didn't like the measurement and you wanted to delete it, you could delete it, or you could repeat the measurement and it would repeat the measurement. So let's do a E over E prime. So let's save this. I just right clicked, and we're going to do an E over E prime. So we'll do that right here under E over E prime. Okay. So then it's going to tell you touch the E point. So we've got the E point, and then we are going to go to a myocardial velocity. This is the lateral wall, and this is this lateral wall again, and then this is lateral wall again, lateral wall again, just depending on, and then this is the septum. So, and this is the right side. So this one actually looked very nice, so we'll do this, and then we're going to right click, and then you'll have your measurements in the report. We can go to the report, and there it'll populate the report. So there you go. Okay, now let's go to the third case, just to give you an idea of your three cases that you have to work with. This is diastolic function EF2, or normal EF2, and we have, again, normal function, LVH. A couple of things here. The study is does have some sort of what not to do, I guess I would say. So these are the pulmonary veins, right? So not the greatest. Again, they could have reduced the reject here on the baseline. So again, if you wanted to illustrate sort of what not to do, this is not the greatest. You could illustrate that they have a high diastolic pattern, I don't see any sort of a systolic pattern. Maybe, and you can't really comment on an A-wave reversal. And then this is at the annulus, so you want to make sure that you get the leaflet tips. This is more along the leaflet tips here, sort of blending of the E and A. So, and then here are the tissue Doppler velocities. This is the septum, lateral, lateral. Okay, so again, when you go to calcs, you're going to go to calcs, you're going to go to diastology, then you can choose if you want to label and what you can measure. Okay, So hopefully this quick tutorial has given you an idea of the cases that you're going to have at Echo Florida. If you have any questions, feel free to call me. Otherwise, I will see you guys in a bit or in a couple of weeks. Talk to you later.